for that. What else? Any other announcements that I'm missing? Faculty, staff, anybody got one? No? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Rick. So Rick, take it away.
All right, no need to applaud. I'm not going to talk very long. This is our ninth cohort cut round. Here's how it's going to work. Each team is going to come up here. We have 5 teams. They're all going to present the vertical slice of where they're at, what they've been doing since the beginning of January. You have a half hour apiece, well actually 25 minutes, and we'll have an opportunity for a 5-minute break between each presentation, so if you want to use the restroom or vending machine across the hall, you can. If you are coming back into the room in between presentations and that door is shut, then go around the side and use the back door so you don't disturb the presenters. They have 25 minutes to do their presentations and field questions and answers. So hopefully they won't spend the entire 25 minutes giving their presentation, because then there'll be no Q&A. I will be evil when it comes to cutting you off, so if you're running really long, you might just get the hook. As far as questions go, anybody in the audience who wants to ask a question, raise your hand, and whoever is giving the presentation will take your question. We'll take as many as we can until we fill up the 25-minute time frame, or until we run out of questions. After it's done, the faculty and the industry judges are going to head off to MI6 and have an arm wrestling match, which I will win. And then we'll be sending out an email informing you, yeah, we're told, informing you of which projects are going to survive for the rest of the capstone, and if there are any projects that are cut, where those team members will go, which new teams they'll be on. Usually it doesn't take us that long to figure this out, so if we finish by 5:30, maybe we'll have the results by 7:30. Most of the time people are off at happy hour and everybody's got their little iPhone sitting on the table waiting for them to beep. And then there's a big strange cheer and the bartender wonders what's going on. And then half of them start drinking heavily and the other half start laughing. All right, that being the case, I'm not going to talk any longer, and I'm going to turn it over to our first presenter. This is Team Pitch Jumper. Let's hear it.
Hi, my name is AJ, and I'll be presenting our game, Pitch Jumper. So we started with a simple concept, which was a platformer that fits to the player's music. There's lots of platforming games that are musically oriented, but it's always the developers pushing their music on you. We wanted it to be the other way around. So to satisfy that, we came up with a design which is one song for one level. And we succeeded with that by using a level module strategy, which allows our levels to expand and contract to fit the length of your song. The camera will then scroll through the level so that the song perfectly fits to the length of the level. Our main character is Coda. Coda is a very unique little creature that is powered by his link to Earth's music. Now, he can take this energy from this music and resonate it out into his environment, which brings everything to life in the game and causes all of the creatures of his world to dance along with him. So we're going to go briefly into the controls before the demo. Our judges have iPads so that they can play the game along with us while we show it up here. The left side of the screen, anywhere you place your left hand will be able to move Coda back and forth. And tapping on the right side of the screen will cause him to jump, and tapping again or holding in the air will cause him to glide. Also, there's a combo jump, so if you jump in rapid succession after landing, he will jump higher and higher up to 3 times. So we're going to cut to the demo level, and I would hope the judges enjoy their playthroughs as well.
can show you what you wanna see and take you where you wanna be. You could be my luck, even if the sky is falling down. I know that we'll be safe and sound. I can lift you up, I can show you what you wanna see and take you where you wanna be. You could be my luck, even if the sky is falling down. I know that we'll be safe and sound.
So that you can see the achievements, those were coming down from the top while playing as well, and he got all of them through the game, so great playthrough, Eric. Switch back to the PowerPoint. So the game is themed around these guys, the muses. The level you just saw was the red muses area, and we have a muse of all the different colors of the rainbow that you'll see throughout the presentation in the slides. And they have had their powers destroyed by the evil silence and noise. And only Coda can collect those little note creatures to get enough energy to bring those muses back to power. So we wrote a lot of stuff on our own for this project. We didn't use a standalone engine like UDK or Vision like a lot of the other groups are using. We started from scratch on a lot of things. So we wrote our own music analysis program. We started with a standalone visualizer, which we used to see which events we would need. And then we integrated that into the game. So we do two types of analysis. We do a pre-analysis on the song as well as a real-time analysis. The pre-analysis gives us the song duration, the amplitude, the beats per minute, and turning points. And the turning points are changes in amplitude, which is what actually changes the velocity in real time. And then while the song is playing, we keep track of the beat, and that is when the movement gets initiated on the game objects. So our engine, not actually an engine, we're using the Coco's 2DX framework, which is fantastic because it allows our programmers to use C++, and it can be ported to multiple platforms. And we use the Box 2D physics engine as a part of, in tandem with that, to create our in-game physics. Our last tool that we've been using is Tiled. It's another open source program. It's a 2D level editor. And Tiled has been great for our producers to really get into the game and build a unique amount of levels. We have been able to get into the code of that and program our own additional functionality, which is the best things we've been able to do is highlight which current layer you're in, which really helps you keep track of where you're building. We've been able to default certain properties in so we don't have to spend a lot of time filling in values over and over again. We have hotkeys and buttons that allow us to toggle the grid on and off, or also toggling snap to grid so we can place objects anywhere on screen. And Tiled had a lot of built-in quirks and some little issues that we were able to really smooth out. So for the game design, we really wanted to respect the music is the biggest thing. We wanted to see a noticeable change from song to song, and we're going to show that in a tech demo here briefly. But we wanted to also meet all the current expectations in mobile gaming, which is achievements and an in-game currency that you can use to purchase unlockables and other things that we'll hopefully be developing in the future. So with our game's theme and character and gameplay, we think it's really great for the mobile audiences. It can cover a wide spectrum of players. It can be really casual and fun if you pick, and you can pick any type of music you like. So now we're going to cut into another demo, which we're going to have our playlist feature running. So we did not splice together a bunch of clips into one song. We actually have multiple song files that are short clips that are going to be played in succession, and you're going to see the level react to that. There's going to be some harsh transitions because there's some silence in between, and we didn't edit the songs to fade in or fade out. We want this transition to really show. So we're going to bring that up now. Hold on. Yeah.
International underground thunder bounce when I stuff the ground. Like a million elephants, a silverback orangutan. You can't stop the train. Who wants us? Don't come unprepared. I'll be there, but when I leave there, better be a household name. Weatherman telling us it ain't gon' rain. Tonight we sit in a bird drop soaking wet.
You belong with me. Standing by you, waiting at your back door all this time. How could you not know, baby?
Okay, thank you. So going forward, there's a lot of things we think we can keep doing in this game. Our art is beautiful and vibrant and colorful, and we think we just demonstrated that in the game. So the design has plenty of room to keep expanding. We want to make Coda more customizable so each player can change his color or what he's wearing, or maybe features about him, his ears, his tail, other things like that. We want to have all of the types of unlockables, such as extra levels and added functionality to Coda, and especially aesthetics on Coda. We really want to market and then release the game on the app stores as part of our project and collect metrics on the gameplay, and then release additional content and patches based off of players' feedback. For programming, we really want to keep adding more accuracy and depth into the music analysis. We can constantly keep improving on that, depending on searching out different frequencies, finding good ranges, getting certain objects in the environment to work with only certain frequencies in the music. We want to keep optimizing our game performance so we can keep pushing our art, getting more and more animation, more color, more activity. We definitely want to release on Android as well as iPhone, but there's definitely some time associated with porting to another additional platform. And we also want to add more game modes, particularly an asynchronous multiplayer mode, which will really feature the social part of this game, where you can play a song that you own, get a score on it, and then send it to a friend, challenge them to play that song against your score, see how they do, either shame them or make them feel victorious, and then have them return the favor back to you. As well as a free run mode. Right now you can play one song per level, but mobile gaming can be difficult on time constraints, so we want to really cater to that and allow really short gameplay sessions or really long ones with the playlist feature. Our artists have done a fantastic job so far, but we would love to have more. We want to make worlds for all the different types of muses, so we can have a real big variety in our levels. We need the extra perilous silence and white noise worlds, which will be the unlockable features after completing the regular muse worlds. We want to animate more objects in the environment, and we want to keep customizing Coda. And another important thing we have to show is our lighting and shader demo. We had looked into this earlier in the project, but not injected it into the game yet, but we have a brief demonstration of that going forward. We can have dynamic lighting in 2D space using normal maps that can turn on and off and really cast shadows on and shading on objects that you see around the game. So here's a 2D object from the game with a normal map on it. And we really like to see in the future the music triggering on and off these type of lights, really bringing alive things. And there's with the background as well. All right, we just want to say thank you to all the people on this list, and we're happy to take questions now. Thank you.
So my question is, when you guys developed this, did you have like a set song that everyone on the team listened to when they tested it and developed it, or did you just use a whole bunch of random songs?
Throughout the development process, we've used a lot of different songs. For different status updates throughout the semester, we've used different songs.
Okay. Because when you guys showed that video and you showed like a whole bunch of different songs together and like how different the game is from it, to me it looked like the environment reacts a little differently, but I never noticed that your player reacted a whole lot differently. Like your collectibles go up like 10 or 20 pixels higher or lower depending on pitch. Is that what it is? Like I couldn't really notice what was so different about the gameplay itself.
The speed of the platform's actually moving. The times they were triggering on the beats were changing. The notes will move at a different speed and and further ranges if it's faster. And the real change you would see from song to song is actually in the level, you would get different pieces that put together the full level. So if you were to play the same level with with different songs, you would actually get slightly different variations on the level as well as those changed speeds and ranges. And
So the assets that get generated are different depending on what song it is.
that level was one level with all the different songs. So it wasn't actually changing level pieces dynamically, but the objects were moving differently.
Gotcha.
John?
So I did notice how the design was being affected by the sound. I'm more of a visual person, so I was wondering, you know, like have you guys considered or have any plans to have the color palette, or I know you were just showing the normal map capabilities that you were looking into, but were you planning on possibly having the colors or the palette change more dramatically as the song changes or as the music changes?
We have animations that play on platforms that light up different colors and things like that. So that plays with the music already. We can definitely keep expanding upon that. Have more colors, maybe only certain colors play and certain music types. We're able to read in MP3 information like genre, and we can use stuff like that to change that as well. And then the different worlds would have different color themes kind of associated with them. So we wouldn't want to deviate too far outside of the level theme.
Talking more about art style, I know that you have a very vibrant palette in the game, and also you mentioned being more animated. What are sort of your plans to make sure that the things that can hurt you stand out more? Like watching the demonstration, I did love your art style, but it seems a bit difficult to point out what's going to hurt you, what is.
Okay. Essentially, stuff that is really spiky right now is what hurts you, as well as getting crushed by the screen. We've been constantly trying to keep improving that. We've added a red glow to things that hurt you. And I mean, it's kind of like that with every new platformer. When the first time you played Mario, you didn't necessarily know Mushroom was going to kill you, a little walking one versus the other one. But then you learn really quickly, and it starts to feel really good.
Going back to things that hurt you, I noticed that you would go into an intangible state and pass through the geometry whenever he was injured. Is there a more permanent penalty to getting damaged?
No, we didn't want to interrupt the flow of any songs or music. We didn't want it being Meat Boy style where you die and restart. So it's a soft death where you get removed from gameplay, and we have a streak functionality that works like Guitar Hero. So the more notes you get in a row without dying, you get a multiplier that increases and is reflected in the UI. So when you die, that resets back to 0.
So when I was a little kid, I played Mario 3. There was a level where the level moves with you, and you can die from it, and it drove me nuts. And so I'm wondering, what's the game design rationale behind the decision to have the level constantly moving behind you, as opposed to, it looks like you want to implement a free play state?
Well, even in the free play state, we would still intend on the camera scrolling. I think the frustration there came from when in Mario, when you die, you have to start completely over. And this, when you die, you just take a hit to your score, like missing a note in Guitar Hero. I can imagine that if you missed a note in Guitar Hero and had to start the level over again, it would be pretty painful as well. Yeah. So we don't think that it's too stressful in the current state. The screen is pretty forgiving. You saw he got into some tight spaces, was able to wall jump out. We think it provides a good level of intensity and anxiety without really frustrating players constantly.
Cool, thanks.
I really enjoy seeing this one so far. The game's looking really good. Besides what you guys do with it. How do you plan to accommodate for varying song? Like a song is 3 minutes versus a song is like 18 minutes guitar solos. How do you plan to accommodate that?
As of now, we just had to make a decision on how long we can actually choose the song to be. But as we push and optimize our performance, We should be able to keep increasing that longer and longer and longer. And if there eventually is going to have to be some sort of length difference or something like that, but if we, for a level at least. But if we can get the free play mode implemented and we can have dynamic modules loading in as you go, then as long as your songs keep going, it should keep going as well. Rick?
So you mentioned that going forward, you can continue to iterate and improve the music analysis. Can you tell me a little bit about what types of things you plan to do as far as improving that music analysis?
Yeah, I mean, we just intend to keep pushing it, and we'd really like to start really delineating what instruments are playing what. We understand it's very, very difficult, but that hasn't stopped us so far. So we can pull out beat right now and some other high frequency events. So just associating those more with music and different instruments is really our goal there. And just getting our beat analysis like super on point. It's really good right now, but you know, it's can always be improved. And the genres of music, you know, it varies so much. So like, oh, right. And also, we've been pointed out that there are certain frequencies that will repeat during a song, like the chorus. So we're actually looking into chorus detection right now so that the most interesting part of the level will load during the chorus.
Questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. 2:35.